All right, we're getting ready to live stream now. We are talking about what David has planned for Benny on the haves and the have-nots. I'm waiting on Chandler to call in, and we can get started. I don't know about you all, but I'm not watching the Oscars. Not boycotting or anything. I just never been a big fan of it. I'm more into, just watching the highlights the day after. I mean, it's only 9:20. I'm pretty sure there'll be memes and GIFs and video clips later on tonight. And sorry about the live stream lag. The windstorm came back and knocked out the power briefly, so I'm just now able to get everything going. So Chandler's calling in right now. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Chandler. I can see you, but I can't hear you. Hello? Hello? I see you're watching Big Bang Theory, but you're not on. Hello? All right. Just a minute. Going to try to call him back. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, there we go. Yeah, you came up on screen, but there was no sound, but it looks like we are good to go now.
Good. How are you? Are you safe after that windstorm?
Yeah, luckily my food didn't melt in the freezer. That would have ticked me off.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God for that.
Yeah. Oh, I know, because I'm not boycotting the Oscars or anything. I just never been a big fan of those kind of award shows, so I'll probably just catch the highlights tomorrow. That's pretty much all I got planned for the night.
Well, I was praying for you. You're in my prayers. I hope that you don't get any more bad weather, so I'll be praying for you.
I appreciate that. I checked the weather. It looks like it's going to be nice tomorrow and then raining on Tuesday and Wednesday.
I know. I'm headed for New York on a vacation next week, and it's going to be in the 40s there, so.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 54 tomorrow, then 40s and 50 throughout the rest of the week. But all I'm hoping is it better not be no bad weather on Tuesday night. That's all I want.
Yeah, that's all I care about, too. I hope that there's no... Yeah, I hate it when the satellite... That's only happened to me one time, and it ticked me off.
Oh, it happened to me during the freaking finale. I was pissed. I forgot which one, but I know it happened. I forgot which one, but oh, man. All right. Well, basically, guys, for everybody who's tuned in, we're going to be talking about David and what he has planned for Benny. I'm going to just say during the back half of the season, due to the fact we only got a couple more episodes before the show goes on break. Now, it's either the 13th or the 20th. I'm not 100% sure. I believe episode 11 comes on the 13th, and we usually take that break around episode 11 or 12, correct?
Correct. Episode 10 will be on the 13th, and hopefully they'll have another episode, the 11th episode on the 20th.
Thank God. That would be great, because, I think I counted wrong, but hey, that works. As long as it's extended through the month, I am good, because, with the CW, all those shows are just taking these breaks and whatnot, like The Flash, Supergirl, Legends. I'm like, well, dang. But on the bright side, though, I don't have to worry about watching like 10 shows in a week. But on the other hand, it's like I got to remember when these shows are coming back. It's crazy.
Yeah, because there's a lot of them.
Got that right. All right. Well, since you brought up the topic, let's go ahead and get started. You give me your thoughts here. What do you think David is going to have planned for Benny?
Well, first of all, about David, I just want to say I'm kind of worried about David because he's messing in places he kind of shouldn't be. Because he's got Veronica. Who knows what Veronica's got planned for him?
Nope.
And as far as Benny is concerned, he's out there talking to Hannah, and I know Hannah's a good woman, but you don't want to mess with a mother's child because a mother will go to the ends of the earth to protect her child. We've already seen that with Catherine.
You took the words out of my mouth. You took the words out of my mouth. I mean, we now know she wasn't a Candace level street whore or whatever, but that doesn't mean she doesn't have connections. That's all I'm saying with that.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe there is a possibility that he may go and tell the DA that, because I don't think the DA knows that that's Benny's bracelet.
Oh, no. They only said they got the bracelet. They haven't done the DNA check yet. That's the only thing.
Right, and when they do, they'll find out that it's Benny. Or before, I just have a feeling that David is, well, I just think Benny's screwed in general.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, he's got the Malones on his back. And now he's got David on his back.
Yep. I mean, honestly, it's not, I don't think David gives a crap about Veronica at this point in terms of her sleeping with another man. That's not it. He's just concerned with Jeffrey.
Yeah, I think that's all he cares about. I don't even think he's thinking about Erica really much because he's not said much about that.
Oh, no, he's been more concerned about Jeffrey. And I think we got a glimpse of this back when those two had that fight at the tow yard when Benny called up Jeffrey and threatened to tell his dad that he was gay. And then David called Jeffrey and was like, is he threatening? He's not hurting me, but he's threatening me. Then when David went to the tow yard, it wasn't about Veronica. It was about him messing with his son. So yeah, we know he doesn't care.
That was so stupid. You know that because one, his dad already knew. Two, he didn't even care.
Exactly. I just felt like it was lazy writing. But before we get further in the David Benny thing, I mean, you see my reviews, and to be honest, I don't feel this last episode was that good. I'm just honest. For some reason, it just was not working for me.
I give it a 6.5.
Yeah, that's why I gave it. I mean, because I feel like I mainly felt disappointed because they kind of hyped up this Amanda gun situation with Jennifer, and I did the videos where it didn't make sense if it was the same gun, but then we never recovered a gun after Amanda was found. Well, excuse me, after Amanda's body was taken away by the cops. Nobody ever mentioned the gun. And then when I remember being so disappointed because I think it was what was it, last Tuesday I did a couple live streams. Yeah, that's right, I did one on Amanda's gun.
Yeah.
Right after I finished that live stream, I saw that clip on the Facebook page where George is like, I don't even want to say making, but hinting at Wyatt being like, look, you need to say that you saw the gun so we can use it against your parents. When I seen that clip, I was just like, this episode is going to be disappointing because I thought that we were going to get some, I wouldn't even say closure, but more information into the situation with Amanda and her death. Because you know how I've been preaching, like, they need to bring this up during the court case. That'll be a great cliffhanger to an episode or a season finale. But now it just seems to be like a throwaway subject just so George can bury the crier, so to speak.
Well, I don't think we got closure. I think we just got more questions than we did answers. I mean, all that they were saying, I mean, it just brought up so many questions. Catherine this, and if Catherine had the gun, just a lot of questions. Like,
yeah.
A lot of things.
It just makes no sense because I was talking to my mom about it, and she began to think that like some people like Wyatt probably did it, but I don't think Wyatt shot Amanda. I don't think so, because here's my thing with that. Wyatt is like a bloodhound when it comes to alcohol. Like he was able to locate and find all the alcohol in the house. It's like, look at the end of episode 1 where he was sneaking alcohol and then saw Candace and Jim walking out there his office late at night. And to me, and I've said this over, I'll just say it again. You know what? If the show's going to recycle dialogue all the time, why can't I? I think that whoever killed Amanda is still alive. I feel like the person is still alive, but also due to the fact that the person who killed her probably knew about that gun. That's why I say Celine is still my number one culprit. Has to be somebody that knows about that gun.
Now that Catherine did it?
I'm not, well, I don't know. Because she knew that Amanda had a gun. She wasn't believing that bull. Like, I'll never forget Jim, the way he said it. It's like, Catherine, it's not a gun. It's a toy. And who told you that, Jim? Amanda told me so. I'm like, oh, my God. Because Catherine didn't believe. Yeah. Remember all the time she was tearing up that room when Amanda wasn't there trying to find that gun but couldn't find it? And then
going through her purse and everything.
Yeah, and then whenever Amanda came in the room and told her to get out, she's like, oh, you know how I always check behind Celine. She doesn't do her job. And then every time Amanda went in the room, I know that Jim checked in with her once. Then Catherine was in there looking for the gun. Whenever they left, she would pull that gun out and just start making weird noises like eeny, meeny, miny, mo, or whatever. But my thing is, if I think I even said this in a blog a while ago, it could be likely that Catherine used a gun because the way she was positioned in that bed, we don't know if she had a gun underneath that pillow. The argument is she probably had that gun hidden because, remember, Jim was sleeping with her that night because he got his ass beat by Quincy. Because I remember Catherine brought it up. Why you got your ass in here? It's like, shut up. And then he got that text message from Candace to come out to the front yard. And Catherine was like, tell your whores not to text so late at night, trying to get some sleep. But here's another question. I need to get your thoughts on this too. My mom mentioned Wyatt being the one to shoot, but I don't think so. I think we are being misdirected in the opening of season 3. Because remember, they did the season 2 recap. And they ended it with Amanda being shot. Like, you know, the gunshot going off. We saw the light in its top floor of the house. And they made it seem like Wyatt woke up right after the gunshot. Who's to say that Wyatt didn't wake up after Jim got abducted, went downstairs, found his phone, got drunk, and was passed out, and then the shooting took place after that?
Wow, I've thought about that. That he could have. So you think he could have done it while he was passed out, or you think that he could have done it drunk and not known?
I don't know if I'm saying that Wyatt did it. I'm saying that maybe the shooting took place after he went downstairs and got drunk. But I just thought about it. The flaw in that theory is that the shooting, I'm not saying it had to, but we can theorize that the shooting may have happened while Amanda was still running around, or maybe she gave up the game of eeny, meeny, miny, mo. That's the only way that can make sense. If she stopped running around between the rooms, went back to her room, and then got shot because maybe she didn't finish the game because, what was it? Eeny, meeny, miny. I think Jim was, okay, Catherine was Mo.
No.
Wait,
Catherine was Meanie, Jim was Mo.
There we go. Because Mo wasn't there, maybe she just quit the game because not all the players were in the house. So I'm thinking that maybe, just maybe, she gave up the game, went back to her room. Wyatt checked on everybody and went downstairs. See, the thing about this is, even though these are semi-good theories, we can't get closure because it doesn't make sense. If Tyler Perry purposely wrote it that way, kudos to him because we're still guessing, but we need to get some more answers and questions. Like George using the whole Amanda thing just to manipulate the criers. I hate that because us fans, at least the ones who still give a damn about Amanda, want to know what happened. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, and I want to know what happened. And do you remember that she was laughing when she got shot? Do you remember that?
Bro, I remember. I tweeted Jacqueline Beacom. I'm just like, look, I remember being scared of the trailer for the finale because that creepy ass laugh. That I was just like, no, I don't need that. No, I remember. I tweeted she was laughing. I remember because, again, that laughing thing, I don't know if that happened while she got shot. I think that was an overlaying laughter for effect. Now, if she was laughing now, I don't know. I mean, you just look at people like the Joker and crap who do psychotic stuff like that. But we just don't know if there was somebody else in the room. All we know is for sure, whoever shot her left that room unscathed, because if not, there would have been blood in the carpets and everything, like in the hallway and stuff like that. Because you know how Celine was there that morning, Hannah got there, Catherine was getting ready, Wyatt was there. Well, he was downstairs drunk. There was not one drop of blood on the hallway carpet or on the stairs, because after all that blood splatter and all, come on now. You can't tell me there wasn't any blood unless somebody jumped out the darn window, and that was on the second floor, so I don't know.
Exactly. And you remember Catherine, her thing was, because, she was supposed to go to Hannah's party. Remember that? Because Hannah was throwing a surprise party.
Sure was. I remember. Yeah, but after everything that went down, she couldn't make it.
Well, after everything that went down, because remember she left that message because she had taken, supposedly, I'll just say supposedly, had taken that sleeping pill.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was just, oh my gosh. I mean, well, really quickly, again, this is how the live streams go off topic, but not off topic. I just think about the whole Benny and David situation. I think the whole Benny thing, he's going to jail if they get that bracelet. I mean, no doubt. Without a doubt, because his DNA is on it. I don't know how you can spin that.
Do you think that Veronica won't be able to get him off? I mean,
this Veronica Harrington, she could do it. But I'm just thinking, like, I think that him going to jail is going to happen just because of the Malone thing, because there's no way 6 months is going to pass between now and 2020, let alone 6 days. So we know something's going to happen to where those Malones are going to want that money back, or at least check in on them, because even if Benny goes to jail, they can still get to him, because remember, the Malones own the cops.
Exactly. We have this thing. You know that we have some of the episodes in the fall, in the upcoming seasons called, do you remember the episode called The Third Quarter?
Yep, I remember.
And Out of Time. I wonder if that had Out of Time. I can't wait. That's the finale. The finale of this whole season. I wonder if all those episodes, like the third quarter, 6 months, every 6 months, well, we know every 6 months, but the third quarter and Out of Time, I wonder if those are Benny related.
Possibly. But seriously, I don't know how they're going to do it unless they do time skips and everything. How they're going to make 6 months pass. I just don't see it.
Well, they'd have to do one hell of a time skip to make that happen.
Yeah, but even if they do a time skip, they got to explain a lot of stuff, like Melissa, is she pregnant? What about Justin and his wife? What about Hannah and Derek? Charles for the election? Again, there are just so many. This is what happens when you drag the freaking show. When you write it like a 5-day-a-week drama when it's only once a week.
Yeah, I know. I wish that. That's why The Young and the Restless. I don't know if you watched that or not, but I will watch it. What? It's every day a week, and they do have some time skips sometimes. Yeah,
and that's a shame how they can do that, but this doesn't. I mean, the thing is, with this, there are just so many plot points that you just can't skip over without mentioning at some point in time. I mean, I already got lists of videos to do during the off season. Like, have and have nots won't be the priority because I'll be talking about other things. But, like top 10 forgotten plot points, top 10 crazy Veronica moments, just things like that. There are just so many things to list that have been dropped, or I wouldn't even say forget.
Exactly, because then the show wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. It was just ridiculous how, this last episode, the lack of the gun thing, Veronica being, I mean, I love Veronica, but her just pretending to be physically abused and all that. What's funny?
Warlock. This is what they do. They get in and these cool, calm, and collected characters, they start doing stupid stuff, and that's their demise.
Exactly.
That's their downfall.
Exactly. And I don't even know what they're going to do about it in the future, because I'm thinking about these characters who really are good characters in my opinion, but they're probably going to be killed off for stupid stuff in the future, just because the plot demands it, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah,
I mean, at least we get to see Charles go to visit Candace next week. Excuse me, Landon. God. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I want to say something about Catherine. It was nice to see Catherine last week because we finally saw the Catherine that we used to see.
Yes, when that made, I still say that was probably an act, but if it was she, I'm like, oh snap, she's about to pull a Veronica. All I was doing was waiting for her to pull out a cup of tea, a lemon, and a knife. I was waiting for that. And when that maid said, I'll come back and burn this house down, I was laughing my behind off. I'm like, you don't know Catherine Cryer. She burned houses before. I was laughing.
Yeah.
And again, I was laughing because that scene was hilarious. You got Catherine acting like she did last season. You got Hannah being like, go ahead, show your ass, show your whole behind or whatever. And then I like the little thing like her taking her purse is like, oh, you're going to be like that, huh? Golly.
Yeah.
That was good stuff.
Not only with that maid, but with George too, you know?
Oh.
If George don't watch out, Catherine might shoot him too.
Exactly. I mean, she already shot one DA.
Exactly.
Ain't nothing about adding the second one. And then that Sarah, I'm kind of curious about what her development's going to be because, I mean, when you think about it, just think about the fact she lived a prostitution hooker life in the past to sleep her way to where she was. And then, you know, Jim pretty much erased her past. And now it's like, okay, I want to make an honest living now as an assistant DA, maybe climb the ranks and whatnot. And then she finds out this clean cut life that she was trying to live isn't as clean as she thought. I mean, if anything, it's probably even dirtier than what she used to do because these are people who can like ruin people's lives, put them in jail for wrong reasons and whatnot. And it's like George is like, look, they got one of us, so we got to make them pay. And I'm just like, wow, that's crazy.
Wow. Yeah. I wonder if Catherine knows, and I don't know. I would say probably not, but you never know. I wonder if Catherine knows that she was involved with Jim.
Honestly, there are so many kids. Like, let's say theoretically, if Erica does know Jim from conjugal visits now and then, I don't know if Catherine knew about that. I'm thinking like, we know that Catherine said that Candace was 9, then we knew Celine was in there, and you know 7 others, possibly her sister, I believe. But I'm thinking those because what he told David that before Candace he hasn't had a prostitute in like 10 years. I swear. But I'm thinking that there might have been girls that he's been sleeping with in hotels that Catherine didn't know about. My assumption is that Catherine knew about the women that were trying to blackmail Jim because remember she told Candace, little girl, you think you're the first one to sleep with my husband and then try to blackmail him for money and whatnot. Even though Catherine is very smart, I think there are women that she doesn't know about. So I think Sarah might have been one of those women.
Maybe so. And I guess Gia is our number 10 now. Don't
get me started. Because I can't wait for her to walk in and Candace's like, I didn't get the money. His wife came in. Even if she comes in with an Uzi, you always get the money. I'm like, oh my God. I'll tell you this right now, and I said this in the video. I don't think Gia's going to say that it was Jim Cryer because she wouldn't know that's Jim Cryer because I think Oscar walked out of the room and said, all right, see you later, Mr. Smith, or something like that. Or was that Jim that called Oscar Mr.
Jim
Smith?
Said, goodbye, Mr. Jones.
There we go. So, I mean, I think that's good because there's no need to rush in all these revenge plots at once because Candace finding out that Gia was with Jim is kind of like David introducing Jim to Erica. It's like stuff that's being put in place, but it's going to be explosive when it actually happens. And I feel like and I said this before, I'm over this whole thing about Candace being upset that her money got taken away when she know good and well that wasn't her money to begin with. I'm just tired of that. I'm tired of that plot with Candace, and I'm just tired about Veronica being crazy for the sake of being crazy. If Veronica was introduced in the show as this crazy controlling woman, it would make sense. But when you have a highly intelligent woman who likes control, but when you add in this crazy factor, without any sort of explanation, it doesn't really make any sense. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Either, and she has just gotten so off the rails that it's just unbelievable.
Gosh, I mean, I'm looking through these chats here. Show ends by 2020. What if she shoots George too? Yeah, we talked about that. Benny needs to get Veronica to pay for the truck. All I'm saying is this: it's like, have you ever watched the movie Barbershop?
Yes, I have. Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, I think that was the best of the three. Honestly, I have not watched the third one. I got the Blu-ray on Black Friday like 3 years ago. I have yet to watch it, but it's like when dang, hang on, let me get the name. Crap. Ice Cube's character, Calvin. When he took that money from Lester Wallace and he wanted to give it back because he had a change of heart, it's like, you owe me 40 G, but you only gave me 30. Interest. I'm just like, what? So I'm thinking the same thing with Benny. Like, he can get that money back if he wants to, but he's still going to have to pay interest on it. But my thing,
exactly.
And again, I just, it was a stupid move because I said this before, hypothetically speaking, if Candace decided to move back in with Hannah and Benny, go back to law school because Benny was like, look, I'll go ahead and do work and whatnot, make some money. It'll be tight for a little while, but we can make it work. So I'm like, how do you expect? And then he promised to, give Hannah the money to go to a therapist to talk about her rape incident when she was younger. I'm just like, how are you going to afford to do that? Support your family, pay back $18,000 every 6 months with one tow truck. And I cannot stop talking about the fact that go back to season 1 where he first got his tow truck. He was barely getting any tows. Then later on in season 3 where Mitch got introduced, those two were, keeping busy every now and then for a few phone calls, but it's not the same as when they had a tow company where the phones wouldn't stop ringing. And then you look at when Oscar rerouted all the phone calls to the various other tow companies, that lets you know there's a hell of a lot of competition out there. So how are you and Mitch with 2 trucks supposed to raise that much money and support your family? It's not happening. It's not happening.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, Jeremy, here's some of the chats here. Cassandra Sellers said that, she says, that's right, but she will probably slap him to find out if she's still sleeping with her. At this point, I don't know if she really cares or not. I don't even know if she cares.
Who? Hannah?
No, Cassandra Sellers says, that's right, but Candace will probably slap Benny to find out if she's still sleeping with her.
Oh, nah, I don't think so.
I don't even know if he cares anymore. Or I don't even know if Candace cares anymore.
No, I don't think that's the thing. Another thing I hate about Candace, like one episode is like, Jeffrey, you better shut the F up. You know what I can do. And it's like she doesn't care about anybody but herself. But then in the next episode, it's like, Veronica, Jeffrey can't make it in there. I just don't even know what to do with her anymore. It's ridiculous. It's like when back in season 1 where Benny got arrested in her car with the drugs, Hannah was like, if you go in there and tell him what happened, Benny can go free. I can't do it. I just can't do it. And then she goes off on Jim at his house. Then you got what's going on with Jeffrey. You better shut up. And then David sees her as she walks out, and he's like, he didn't do it. He's in there for your crime. I don't know what you're talking about. And then it's like, you remember what you did to me with Oscar? And then she just walks away like she doesn't give a damn. And then all of a sudden, Veronica, he's not going to make it in there. I just hate these characters who are hot and cold. Like, there's no consistency in their character. I mean, there's some consistency, but there isn't any explanation.
They're just such a dynamic character. And, oh, by the way, do you think that the thing that she was trying to use on Jeffrey, do you think that might be I think maybe she really does care, maybe in some sick, twisted kind of way. But I think that thing that she was trying to use on Jeffrey when she said, Jeffrey, you better shut up, I kind of think that could have been a scare tactic.
Oh, I agree. And as you just said, twisted affection. At the end of the day, believe it or not, people say I'm crazy, Veronica does love David and Jeffrey. I believe, just like Catherine still loves Jim, Candace still loves her mom. It's deep, hella deep in there, but they love them. But there's with Catherine is just like a resentfulness and obvious. I mean, if anything, you know, she has the right to be after everything after all the hell that Jim put her through. With Candace, again, the fact that she got, you know, raped as a child and then find out her mom went through a similar experience when she was a little older. Again, I think there's love there. Then you look at Veronica, it's just the fact that she wants a loving, perfect family, but she has to control every aspect of it. That's what it is. I mean,
here's a good one. Dominique Yancey says, I don't know why David acts like Jeffrey killed Quincy. She said it was Candace and
Benny.
Jeffrey, but they did it. Yeah, she said, I don't know why David acts like Benny killed Quincy. It was Candace and Jeffrey, but they did it in self-defense. Good point.
Here's my thing with that, because, you know, it's pretty known that Benny was burying the body. Like, he didn't participate in the murder. But my thing is this. It's like a domino. And, you know, I mean, I'm using this analogy because I remember a Sunday school teacher used this when I was a kid, talking about, you know, the crucifixion and death of Christ. It's like, who was responsible? I'll never forget this question. I think I was like 7 or 8 years old. And I said, it was Judas's fault because he betrayed Jesus. And then another kid said, no, it was Pilate's fault because he had the power to stop the people from, he had the power to stop Jesus from being crucified, but he decided to let it go into the hands of the people, and they let Barabbas do it. And no, what about Peter? He denied knowing Christ 3 times. It's like a domino effect. Everybody had a part to play in the eventual downfall. Same thing with Quincy's murder to an extent. Am I comparing Quincy to Christ? No. So anybody in the comment section, suck it. But I'm talking about when it comes down to the fact of the murder, yes, Jeffrey's action is all about cause and effect. Because Jeffrey walked in and saw Candace on the verge of being choked to death for who knows how long, because the time lapse makes no sense. It literally doesn't. We talked about this before. It's like, wait. So Oscar got thrown off and punched in the face. He ran. Then he got to David's office to hand over the files from the paperwork on the Candace situation. Then we got David giving that work to Jim. Then Jim calls Mama Rose for the bloodbath. Then everybody gets on stage and they actually have this thing where Jim does the announcement that, hey, despite the fact that my home life isn't in order, I can still run this state as governor. Then they all get arrested by Jennifer. And then out of nowhere, Jeffrey just happens to walk into Candace's house and stab Quincy. Remember, while Jim was giving his speech, it was just poetic how his dialogue matches the flashes to all these other characters, like, you know, about the women and children, like, you know, Hannah hugging Quincy Jr. Then you have all these characters dying, like Professor Cannon and Toxic and Terrell. And then you got Candace being choked out. And I was just like, I know all of this isn't happening while she's being choked. So I'm going to quote unquote assume that maybe Jeffrey jumping in there and seeing Candace being choked out kind of happened before Oscar made it back to the office, because there is no way that Candace would have been choked out that long and not died. But I digress. What I'm saying is Jeffrey acted in self-defense. Well, I wouldn't even call it self-defense, because wouldn't it have been self-defense if Candace was the one that was stabbing him? Jeffrey was like a third party in the situation, right? Because I remember he tried to like bust a vase over his head, but then he got knocked back. Then he found the knife on the ground that Candace was going to use on Oscar. And then he ended up, you know, carving him like a Thanksgiving turkey. So technically speaking, Jeffrey's actions are what led to his death. However, Candace saw him lying there when he regained consciousness. She had the ability to call 911 to possibly save his life. But exactly. So that's something.
I don't even think that'll ever be brought up again.
Again, I was about to say that I agree. I don't think that's going to her grave. Just like the whole situation, like how she tried to twist the truth to make it seem like it was Jim's fault that Amanda got raped by Professor Cannon. Because you remember after she got hit upside the head with the wine bottle by Catherine, and she was telling the truth, but not in the canonical order. She was literally saying like, when Amanda told me that you said you weren't doing anything to pass that nobody else was doing. But that was what Jim told. That's what Jim told Amanda after she got raped / tried to overdose with all those pills. But it's just.
Speaking of Jim, I just saw a good chat. Dominique Yancey says, "I wonder why Jim is going down for the Jennifer murder. Catherine was the one who murdered Jennifer. Remember, he was still in jail at the time."
Well, it's not.
I've always wondered the same thing.
There's no time frame on that. Again, they're not looking at that. They're just trying to bust anybody with the name Cryer. And you're right, Dominique. That's a very good observation. But I mean, how many times have the characters who have been placed in jail have been placed for a crime they actually committed? Like, Tony having Hannah arrested when Benny wasn't found because he wanted the kidney. How about when Benny got, arrested for having drugs in the car? Technically speaking, that was a crime, but we know as an audience that he didn't commit it. And then you have to look at the fact when of course now Jeffrey got arrested for the crime of admitting to murdering Quincy Maxwell. And again, the list goes on. I feel like we could just talk until we're blue in the face, but until Tyler Perry gives us any kind of closure, this is going to be an open case. Like, literally, it's just going to be an open case.
Oh, I think so. And as far as Benny and David is concerned, I was kind of thinking, you don't think Benny or David will try to do anything to Mitch as well, do you?
Oh, heck no. He knows better than to mess with Mama Rose's grandson. Hell no. He knows better. He knows.
No, because I remember saying something. I remember thinking, wow, let me tell you this. When I saw the episode, I thought, boy, remember how he just told Hannah that she's gonna have Benny prosecuted for murder?
Yeah.
I said, well, you let him go up to Mama Rose and say the same thing about Mitch.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen because, Dominique, real quick, I want Hannah with Derek, but I like her with Michael. I said the same thing a while ago. I feel like Michael was the best candidate for a love interest just due to the fact that they both lost their grandchildren. And not only could they console each other, but in that relationship, if you will, then true love would blossom because Hannah deserves the win. I remember talking with my mom last night, and and again, people on my have not Instagram been pretty good with the comments there as well. Hannah has just become sort of a boring character lately because in her early seasons it made sense of why she was independent and whatnot, but now it's just a kind of a bit, I don't want to say stupidity, but it's almost like, Hannah, what else is there for you to do? Like, you want to go to school, you want to possibly pursue something else. That's commendable, but not if you don't accept Catherine's help. You have no home, no money, She did say to Derek that she can possibly find a house that's a third of what the house she's in right now is, but she doesn't have any kind of income. That's my thing. And it's like, why? Because you can say that's because she's an independent, prideful woman. Okay, no, she's an independent, strong black woman. That's absolutely true. I do not deny that fact or disagree with it. But now it's kind of reached a point of, Hannah, okay, you need to do something here. I mean, this is just a bit ridiculous. And Catherine, what she said at the end of last season is like, you're a woman of faith, and here you are ignoring your blessings and whatnot. So even though Catherine is being a bit conniving and whatnot and what she's doing, I do like this side of her character. And it's almost like, you know what, Hannah, I'm going to do what's best for you. If you don't want to do what's best for yourself, whether you like it or not, it's kind of like, when Candace gave Hannah that car, but set it up so Erica would have Benny tow it, buy the car, and then give it to Hannah because she knew she wouldn't take the car because she would say she got it through ill-gotten gains, which she did, but the love was still there. It's just in a twisted way.
Oh, I absolutely agree. Okay, real quick, Jeremy. This is a good point. Ronnie Byron says that Candace, Benny, and Jeffrey should stick together through the whole Quincy death thing. I agree. Just like I think that Catherine, Jim, David, and Veronica should stick together through this whole Jennifer murder thing, I think that Candace, Benny, and Jeffrey, for the time being, should stick together until they get through the other side of this Quincy murder thing.
I agree. Just like how Jeffrey and Melissa should have stuck together when it came to the Veronica situation, because can you imagine if this new Melissa teamed up? And I think I'm going to be preaching this in a lot of videos. If we saw the Veronica come out of Jeffrey, like I'm talking about, because as Jeffrey told Candace, like, I'm just sick of this. I'm sick of being stuck in this mess because of you. If I was as ruthless and as cold-hearted as you and Mom, nobody would be able to touch me. And I believe that. If Jeffrey allowed himself to go into that hole, he would be unstoppable. That would be amazing to see, because you look at all these characters who have brought out a new side of themselves. Oh my, Jeffrey will be a force to be reckoned with. The closest we saw to him becoming that kind of Candace person was when he took Candace's advice to kind of seduce Justin into doing what he wanted, but then he messed up because Candace is like, you told him way too much information about yourself, and that's actually a fact. So it's kind of weird how Candace brought out the best and worst in Amanda and Jeffrey, and then things just spiraled out of control.
Yeah, who else do you think she'll get her hands on?
Oh my God. I mean, it's kind of funny because in a way, she's actually corrupting these families through their children. And it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like, her trying to...
She even tried to get her hands on Melissa.
Oh, yeah. It was just crazy how that worked. It's just amazing how it's a domino effect. And it's like Candace, she may have said this at some point, or maybe I'm just kind of thinking out loud. She kind of finds the nooks and crannies of any person she's targeting and then goes for the weak points. Because I remember at one point she even threatened to use Amanda against Jim, and he was like, if you do, yeah, that's right, back in season 1, if you do something to my daughter, I'll kill you. Then we know when Amanda was in the hospital, and I'll never forget it when Jim's by Amanda's bedside. He's like, Jeffrey, give me the address for Amanda's apartment. Yeah, okay, I'll give it to you. And when Wyatt wakes up, tell him I love him. I will, Mr. Cryer. Then he went over there, opened the door. It's like, you hurt my daughter, and what are you going to do about it? And then that's when that fight happened, when he was about to choke the life out of Candace until he found that pregnancy test. That was one of my favorite Jim Cryer moments right there.
That was a good, yeah, I like that moment.
Yeah, I mean, because Candace was kind of getting her just dues, but also at the same time, it's like, look, you mess with my family, I'm going to kill your ass. I feel like there should be like a top 10 video, or at least top 5 of people getting choked out. Quincy choking Veronica when he was trying to rape her at the stairs. When Candace was choked by Jim. When Quincy was choking when Quincy was choking Candace. And my favorite that people seem to forget about, when Jim was trying to choke out Veronica after he found out that Veronica was the one to have Wyatt raped in jail, and then David broke it up. And I was just like, that was one of the best moments. I love that.
Oh, I remember that.
And I remember Catherine like, what the hell is going on? Because she was like the only one in the room that didn't know what was going on, except for Landon as well. That was.
I'm surprised that. Well, I don't. I'm surprised. Do you think Catherine put it together then? Because Veronica was, basically, she said, "How was Wyatt stay?" I was the one. I'm sure. Yeah, I did it. You couldn't do it, so I did it. You couldn't keep him in line, so I did it.
I think it's like when Amanda was putting the pieces together off screen about Candace and Jim having an affair, but she didn't actually have confirmation until Quincy told her.
Say anything.
Yeah, and it's just like with Catherine, maybe she was putting the pieces together, but then when we get to Catherine walking into Wyatt's room when he was overdosed and Jeffrey was talking out loud, that's when she got the verbal confirmation she needed. Because remember, Veronica being choked out happened before they all got arrested by Jennifer. And when Veronica and Catherine were in the same cell, Catherine was like trying to put the pieces together. It's like, how could this happen? It's like Amanda, whenever she was about to, commit suicide or whatever, Dominique 1-800 choke that hoe. Yeah, I know. I made that meme a while back. But Veronica was putting the pieces together. It's like, whenever something happened, we were able to find out what the trigger was and take care of it. And that's when Veronica's like, no, don't involve Jim with this. You don't need to upset him. Veronica, since when do you care about what makes Jim upset or not? When are we getting that damn phone call? I'm like, yep. She was putting the pieces together. Golly. Nathaniel Woods, Hannah will take the blessing with no doubt. I doubt it. I mean, it's like Catherine has her in the will for $5 million. True. It wouldn't surprise me if, at some point Catherine even ups her amount in the will. Like, it would not surprise me, to say the least. Jeffrey shouldn't never have went to that courtroom. I don't even want to speak on that anymore. I feel like that was just pure stupidity and bad writing. Can't wait for a Hannah and David showdown. I love the fact that isn't David going to be trying to quote some scripture or whatever, and then Hannah's going to shut him down?
Oh yeah, that was deep.
Yeah, he said, but then then Hannah was like, well, the Bible says an eye for an eye. I'm just like, oh shit, oh damn, okay.
He said, you imagine this is biblical. Do unto me as I have done unto you.
Oh, yeah, that's it. And I just love when she threw it back at him in terms of, you want my son to go in jail so your son can get out. But you remember way back when I was trying to get you to help me get Benny out of jail.
That was, Hannah is nothing to mess with. I mean, she might be a good woman, but she's nothing to mess with.
I mean, even though she's a Christian woman, I still think she got some Candace in her. That's all I'm saying. I know it's kind of weird. I doubt this is going to happen. I really doubt it. But in a sick kind of way, I would love for Hannah to call up Candace and ask for help with taking down David because they're trying to go after Benny. I would love that. It's not going to happen, but I would love it.
Wouldn't that be a good way for them to get together?
Yes, that would be a great way. It's like I said before, Benny's death might be something that will bring them together. But I feel like saving him from jail would be great. Golly. What if Amanda became a Catherine-like character? Well, she's dead. I want to be doing. I think I'm going to be doing some what ifs during the break as well. I don't even want to think about what ifs right now in terms of characters that are already demised, just because it's just so much to think about. Because a lot of people are being killed off before their characters get fully developed. A lot of characters never get resolved plot lines. It's just ridiculous. Just like Jennifer, I wanted to explore more of the Jennifer and David dynamic. I wanted to know more about her doing research into Amanda's death. Yeah, there's just so many questions that are unanswered. Did Benny tell Hannah that he buried Quincy in the backyard? No, I don't think so. I think it's supposed to be backyard. Yeah, that's it. I think that the only reason Hannah knows that Benny was connected was because the news report said a bracelet, and that happened at the same moment that Benny and Candace walked into the motel room, and Hannah was like, Benny, where's your bracelet? And I'm just like, oh snap. And remember, Mitch knew something was going on because this was after they had the tow company and he was doing all the heavy work while Benny was running around screwing Veronica and getting stuff done, out behind the scenes. And he was like, yo man, what you got all that cement and that shovel for and whatnot? Don't worry about it, man. I just plastic. Yeah, that's what it was. I'm just like, well, dang, it's crazy. I just hope that stuff gets resolved, man. Benny going to survive? He go to jail and get out? I don't know. It depends on how the Malone situation plays out. Cause he might. It's just like so many characters on the show. They jump over a trap and then they get caught in quicksand, right when they think they're in the clear, it's like, oh snap, that thing I forgot about is going to bite me in the butt. So
exactly. And I think that what Benny should do, I really do think that he should ask Veronica for the money.
Yeah, and it's like, it's like the devil you know is better than the one you don't. But the thing is, I can't even say that he doesn't know the Malones because Mitch warned him multiple times. Even his uncle warned him. And it's just like, it would have been smarter for Veronica because it's just like, hey, even if I feel like Veronica would have did to Benny what Benny was thinking Catherine would do to Hannah and him by kicking him out of the house if she got pissed off. But I would say that Veronica would be more than likely to try to take that truck back if Benny pissed her off, but I don't think that would happen so much because at the end of the day, Benny saved her life.
Yeah, I really do think that in a way, I think Veronica's crazy about it.
Oh yeah, I mean when they first got together, I had no inclination or thought that they were a couple. It was just a ploy to get back at David. But now it's like Mitch said, "Yo, that chick loves you, man." So I'm just like, that'll be that.
I had to laugh at that.
Yeah, I just love the way he talks. It's just like I just love how Mitch is the Malone, yet Benny's the one that's getting him in all these crazy situations. And it's like,
Exactly.
and it's like I did that. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I'm just saying he's the one who keeps Benny on his toes most of the time, or tries to.
Yeah, and that's crazy. I mean, he's the level-headed one between the two, and it's just kind of sad, man. I mean, gosh, it's again. I think that this Benny is interesting just because it's more than him being an annoying character, but it is slightly annoying that he's just getting into one dumb mishap after another. He's just making these random decisions that make no sense. I mean, again, it is fun to watch just because it's like, okay, what kind of mess is he going to get into next? But there's no consistency in it. I feel like he's just doing these dumb things just to do them, just to set up plot points, and that's not a good way to write.
I couldn't agree more. That's why it's time. We need to have the coma brought up again. We need to have the coma brought up in his state of mind.
I mean, him not going back to the doctor, at least for a checkup, is just as ridiculous as Catherine never going back to the doctor for a checkup after her breast cancer surgery.
Exactly. So they don't even mention that anymore.
Oh, heck no. That was like dropped like a bad habit. Pretty much at the end of season 1, it's like, my family, I was dying in front of my family and nobody noticed. And I'm like, well, yeah, apparently the writers don't either because that plot point got dropped back in season 1. Mitch talked like he black. Well, I mean,
Great Gamer says Mitch talks like he's. Great Gamer says Mitch talks like he's black.
I mean, he
kind of does have that black voice.
He's cool in my book. I mean, he's dating Erica in real life now. If that isn't a black card, I don't know what is. So, hey, more power to you.
I know, right?
What if what if Melissa took all Veronica's money? Nah, Melissa's just out for revenge. She don't give a damn about money. But, hey, did you see my video about the abortion case? And what do you think about that in terms of Melissa getting an abortion?
Yes, I did see that video. I did watch it as soon as you posted it. I would not be surprised if Melissa did stop off and get an abortion before she went to Veronica's house.
Yeah, I mean, because the time frame on that.
Or even the time before her mother broke. Okay, remember when she tried to, she was in the hospital and her mom brought her back?
Yes.
And of course, I wouldn't be surprised if she even stopped off then to get an abortion.
Here's my problem. This is why the last season finale sucked, because we did not see a scene of Veronica picking up Melissa from the hospital after she shut down the courtroom, like busted George's case, got Jeffrey arrested, exposed Justin. We did not see her going to the doctor and just having that brief conversation of, is the baby okay? That's all we needed to see to get confirmation that baby was still inside of her, but we didn't. It's just ridiculous. Because that would have...
See, I'm hoping when, I know we talk about all these scenes that we don't see, and there are plot points that are left out, and scenes that we should see that we don't. I'm hoping that when we finally, and who knows when this is going to be, when we finally get the show on DVD.
Oh, man. We get the deleted scenes and whatnot.
We'll get some deleted scenes. Yeah, hopefully we'll get some deleted scenes. Maybe that could be one of them.
Yep. I mean, because it would answer so many questions. Just like when I, get the DVD sets for like The Flash and Supergirl and whatnot. When I look at deleted scenes, I'm like, oh, wow, that's great. Those two characters didn't talk in that episode, and it gives us more exposition. There are just so many things they could be doing with this, but I don't know, man. It's just, gosh. I mean, still, I love the show. It's just some things about it that need to change. But okay, I feel like we've halved and have not out in a way. And I did a few Pains live streams, so let's kind of jump to that real quick. I watched the Worldwide Pain. Now, that episode, I mean, first of all, Lynn is adorable. She's easily my favorite new character. I just love her so much. She looks like Zuri from Jessie. And it's just like, again, just so adorable. It's like Curtis, like, you know, you sweet, you're the sweet, you too sweet, you too sweet. But my thing with the,
when I was watching that, I was like, boy, that almost makes him look like a pedophile or something.
oh, come on now, oh, come on now. But I'm just like, I remember I got some like, my thing is, I don't pay attention. Like, if people disagree with me, hey, that is, everybody got their opinion. If there are trolls, I don't mind trolls, whatever. But don't just like disregard my thoughts in terms of me being hard on the show, because just even with the haves and the have-nots, the name of this channel, I point out the good stuff as well as the stuff that is bad or needs to be improved on, but I don't outright hate any of the shows. My thing is, I just ain't got a time. And you were in the chat on my live stream. I don't really like these long, drawn-out, no humorous jokes just for the sake of filling a time slot. But there is a message in the show. Like, every episode, there is a message. And like I said before, when we hit like the break, when the show goes on break, I'm going to do a video where I literally, no joke, can break down each episode in like 3 sentences or less. It's like this episode, Curtis doesn't know how to use the internet. That's pretty much.
Yeah, you're gonna kind of be like the human version of TVGuide.com.
There we go. It's like episode synopsis. It's like Nyla stays up late and wakes up Curtis and Ella. No. Nyla records over Ella and Curtis's DVR shows and stays up late. She doesn't let her kid.
Or with Curtis's help, Nyla and the gang can fend off Kendrick or something like that. Or Curtis stands up to Kendrick.
Yeah, I say Curtis. He was the one that did all the work in that episode. He just punched him out, and that was it. And then in a preview for next week,
double tap, it was a single tap.
You got knocked up. Hey, Ryan, too much. I loved it when he's like, oh, Curtis, you gotta teach me that. There's this kid in 10th grade named Body Count, and he's stealing my lunch over the past 2 weeks. I mean, that fool crazy. He crazy. 10th grader.
I do agree with you about. Oh, hey, I was gonna say this, but isn't it funny that Catherine's new maid is named Joanne, and also Jack A's character's named Joanne?
You know, the funny thing is about this Joanne from the Haves and the Have-Nots, like, I don't even count her introductory episode because she was just there to, to say, hey, this is Hannah, I'm here to help you. Okay, but this episode that just passed, it's funny that in 4 minutes or less, we got way more dynamic range and character from this Joanne than we have on the Pains with Jack A.
I know, right? Are they ever going to give her a storyline? I mean, what is she there for? She's just there.
I know.
She doesn't do much.
Golly. Hey, a couple chats here. Dominique, Ronnie. Yes, not me. I love the haves and the have-nots. Yes, I love the show. Don't get me wrong. I'm a true fan as well. Heck, why do you think I started this channel? But I'm not going to sit here and act like this is a perfect show because it's not. I'm going to point out the stuff that Dominique, Jeremy, I watched your other video about the characters taking showers after sex. Yes. That video needs to be reviewed though because of the title, but I don't care. It was funny. But yes.
Oh, no. Veronica, whoa, hold on. I'm good.
Veronica needs to be killed off the show. Yeah, that would be too easy.
I don't agree with that. I do not agree with that. I'll just go ahead and say I do not agree with that. No.
That would be far too easy. She deserves to get some comeuppance. It's just not enough. Oh yeah, this show needs more scenes in the mafia. It brings a different. Now, for everybody out there, here's my thing with that. I think about R. Kelly's Trapped in the Closet. This is pretty much the best analogy I can think of. When that first started, it was about, back in the day. Now, I'm going to use terminology they used back in the day. Like, instead of little people, it was like there was a midget underneath the sink. You got a homosexual couple, a pastor who's gay. You got adultery. A brother got out of jail. And then as the story goes on, it gets crazier and crazier. Like, where him and Twan go to like like an Italian mob boss, and I'm kind of like, wait, where is this story going? Curtis, I'm sorry, I just had to say that because I saw in the comments, but that's how I feel about the haves and the have-nots. Like, it's okay when you dabble in that kind of element, but it doesn't need to be too much. Like, I was literally thinking about season 2 today. Like, season 2 is where you really saw the dark side of Jim, his connections with the Malones, setting up Norman Hewins to take the fall for Wyatt, having Candace abducted. You just really saw that his season 1 persona was not full of empty threats. Like, when he wanted people to disappear, they would disappear. So when it comes down to the haves and the have-nots, I like the Malone element. I want some more backstory on it, but I don't want to. I feel like the Malones show up just enough that they mean business, but they're not being overexposed. However, I would rather take more stuff from like the Malones, Quincy's gang and whatnot, what's left of Warlock's crew. I'd rather get down to the nitty gritty of that than to have people like Charles show up or Sarah show up, because really I don't see what they have to offer to the story. I would rather see from these other crime organizations that are already established, because I feel like they would bring more to the table than these one-off characters who might not be in the show for more than one season. So that's my thoughts on that, chat. That was a very good question.
It was. And you said Italian. I think the Malones are Italian as well.
Yeah, to my knowledge, yeah. I mean, for the most part, not to be stereotypical, most mob bosses are pretty much, Italian. I mean, mobs or gangsters, you automatically think Italian, The Godfather, while you have like crack dealers, druggies, and gangsters who fit more of the African-American thing, like, Warlock or Quincy. So I do like the diversity in the crime organizations, but they need to be utilized a bit more instead of, throwing in people that are running for president and whatnot. But yeah, it really is crazy.
Here, Candace is a madam now, but she's turning into a mob partner with that Malone lady.
Nah, I think that's a stretch. I feel like she's becoming more of a Warlock-esque character in terms of being a pimp, trying to get these girls to do what she wants, but I feel like that's going to blow up in her face. Another thing is, people are on Facebook saying that the maid is Quita's mom. Nope, because number one, Hannah would have recognized her. Number two, back in season 3, after that cookout, that last woman that left Hannah's house that had like 20 plates of food wrapped up in aluminum foil said that Quincy's mom moved to Atlanta. So that's not it. When are they having the baby's funeral? I don't think Quincy Jr. is getting a funeral. I don't think. I feel like that's the reason why Candace got cremated. But I want to know who has the ashes, though. I mean, for all we know, they're still at the morgue, so I don't think we're ever going to get closure on that. It would be nice if they have like a little ceremony, like maybe at the end of the day, if Candace and Hannah reconcile, I would like to see that, like a small memorial. But also a plot point that I saw in the chat on another live stream, I wanted this to happen, but I don't think it should happen because of too many complications in the storyline. With Tinker Sumter being pregnant in real life, write it in that she has Warlock's baby so she can go through the motions of what Hannah went through by having a baby as a result of rape. But instead, she would actually raise this baby the way she never raised Quincy Jr. Oh, what if a Malone killed Amanda? Nah, I doubt it. Because at that point, Jim was still in good terms with the Malones. Mama Rose looks like the penguin for Batman Returns. I made that comment back in my early video when that new Mama Rose was first introduced. But at the same time, my God, that she was scary. And then when she rolled up in that hospital, she came up out of nowhere. It's like, what the whoa?
Oh my goodness.
That was it. And I love it. I love how Tyler Perry wrote that. It's like, you got a new actress playing the character, but when she rolled up, it's like, yo, this isn't like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when you went from the dark-skinned Aunt Viv to the light-skinned Aunt Viv. It's like the dark-skinned Aunt Viv, she meant business. She could dance. She wasn't afraid of talking, speaking the truth, saying what's on her mind, while the light-skinned Aunt Viv, nothing against her, she was more quiet and reserved. I felt like it was kind of the opposite with the Mama Rose situation.
Exactly. And when she had that scene, it was less than 5 minutes, and I already knew. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, she's not playing. She means business.
Yeah, when when Benny through tears said what Warlock's name was and where he was located, she was like, let's roll. And then she got on that phone like, I don't care, man, woman, or child, we're going to get this son of a... Oh, God. Whew. Hang on a second. A man that could have been killed by a secret admirer in college. I doubt it, but I'm not going to lie. This kind of sound weird back there in season 1, but I kind of pictured myself being on the show as a character that was a classmate that, you know, maybe went over to Amanda's place, said, hey, you forgot your textbook. I know I'm weird, but that's how I wrote myself into the show, and I'm not ashamed.
Oh boy, I would have watched it.
I know, golly, it's just because she was so adorable. It was just, I just felt so bad for her because she didn't have confidence and whatnot, and she felt forced into her lifestyle, but at the same time, she was indecisive. And as a parent, it's like, look, we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're going to finish something, so.
You know, I've wrote myself into the show one time too. I'm half black, half white. So back when you know, Candace and Carlos came, sometime after that, I thought it would be cool if I had a role as another son that Jim had with some black woman.
That would have been interesting. Again, it just goes back to the dynamic. And I would love if you met Celine, because as she told Hannah, he's not into black women. And I'm just like, and he's screwing Candace the same time you're saying that.
Yeah, if I'd have met Celine, she would have said, well, I guess you're just another one of his bastards, huh?
Dun-dun-dun. Yep. Another one he's not taking care of.
Yeah, I would have slapped her.
Yep. And I still want to know about all that the millions of dollars she got in child support that apparently she's never even used.
Who knows? Well, apparently, you know, she might be living on the low side of the tracks, but she's definitely a have in terms of
I still say she hasn't touched much of any of that money, just for the sake of, oh, well, Jim's going to come back for me, and I want to show him it's not about the money, it's about time, love, and affection, so I'm just going to have this in an account.
Because I think she really does love him.
Oh, yeah. It's just a shame how things went down with that, but dang.
And I think she really does love him in a way.
Oh, yeah, I agree. It just goes back to these characters who love... Celine pining after Jim is like David back a few seasons ago, where he was holding on to Veronica, where he called being nearly burnt alive in the house a cry for help and attention. And I was like, bro, seriously? And David is like slowly not... I mean, I remember there was a time where he was my number one character, but now he's slowly falling down the ranks just because of, again, I wouldn't even call it bad acting, more like just stupid writing. It's like, come on now. I just can't wait to see what's going to happen when he tries to prosecute Benny, and what if Mitch gets involved, because remember, him and Jim are trying to use Mitch to get back to Mama Rose, so there's no telling what's going to happen with that.
Exactly. Well, Benny should know. I mean, because Mitch and Benny are friends. I mean, don't you think David should know? I mean, the smart David that we would have seen in season 1 probably would not have done this to Benny. He would have probably thought it all through, like, okay, if I do this to Benny, then there's a possibility that Mitch is going to get involved, and then that's going to ruin her chances with Mama Rose.
Because he even told Jim, yeah.
Sat down and thought that through.
Yeah, because him and Jim, you know, when Erica was in the other room where Jim didn't meet her, he was like, well, Mama Rose's grandson Mitch is friends with Benny, who's Hannah's son, so we can try to, you know, talk to Hannah to get to Benny to get to Mitch. So again, it just goes back to here's how I could see it playing out, but I doubt it's going to happen this way, because if Benny gets arrested due to David, it is possible this might happen. David is going to threaten to have Benny prosecuted, but for whatever reason, he doesn't get to finish the job, either due to a change of heart or he decides to work on something else and doesn't do it. Benny gets arrested anyway due to the DNA on that bracelet being discovered to be his. Then Mitch gets pissed off because not only is his partner in towing in jail, he knows for a fact that Benny might not get out anytime soon unless Veronica helps, and even then, there's no telling what can happen with that. So then Mitch is like, he talks to the Malones. It's like, look, you know the guy you just gave that loan to? Well, he got arrested due to David Harrington, and because of that, he's not going to be able to pay back the money. But more importantly, he was my partner in trying to make a clean lifestyle. And due to him being in jail, that just messed up my life. So then Mama Rose might get involved. Then David is going to be blamed for something he didn't do. Kind of like the whole scenario where, crap, hang on a second. I lost my train of thought. Jim being blamed for the Jennifer Salison murder. Yeah, there we go. See how it works? Like, somebody makes a threat, but then they get blamed when something happens. The very thing they threatened to happen, they didn't pull the trigger. Just like the whole Jim wanting to kill Veronica thing. Like, he got an ass whooping from David when he wasn't the one that, you know, shot Veronica, but it was actually Maggie. So I feel like something along those lines might happen.
You know, I think that David is going to end up in the same position with Mama Rose eventually that Jim is in now.
Agreed. Big Son, what's up? Oh yeah, go ahead.
I want to see. I hope that Mama Rose. I don't think it's obvious that we're probably not going to see her before March 13th or the 20th.
Yeah.
But I really, really hope that we see her in the back half of the season.
Agreed. I mean, again, I feel like Mama Rose, Veronica's mom, the man with the lion tattoo. I feel like these are some good characters to sprinkle out during the second half. Look. The second half of the season, they can change the game. Like, Aaron Boy and Hannah's Tea, to me, were the highlight episodes of this season. And then the last two episodes have kind of been losing steam. Now, you can kind of pick up the pacing when we get to this mid-season finale. But during the back half, come on now. You got to deliver, Tyler Perry.
I hope he does. But I'll tell you this. I really, really, really hope that we have a good finale.
One can only hope. Big San, what's up, bro? Love your channel. Thanks for the support. And I couldn't agree more. I mean, we need something. I will say this much. For the most part, he is good about writing those mid-season / season finales. Maybe not the entirety of the episode, but at least the ending of the episode. So it's like, oh my God, I got to tune in when it comes back on, or what happened? Like, who survived the car wreck? All the halves went to jail. Quincy is dead. Benny got hit by a car. Amanda got shot. You know, and the list goes on. But when it comes to the overall, and in most cases, the episode before the season finale is better than the season finale. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because the season finale isn't 90 minutes like If Loving You Is Wrong. But hey, just thinking out loud.
Well, last season finale, I would have been satisfied after Hannah closed that casket talking to Quincy Jr. and said, God is spoken.
Yep.
If that's all we had gotten, I would have been satisfied.
Yep. Like I said, after that 10, 15 minutes, just cut the episode off. I would have been good. But dang. Get it to family. Candace need to go to Hannah's house. Hannah don't have a home. She got a house, but she don't call it a home. She calls it like it's going to be where I'm staying until I get myself together, which I don't mind, but it's just like, you got the opportunity right here. My gosh. And I
think Hannah, do you think Hannah will call on Catherine for help? Because what do you think Catherine would have said if she would have heard David say, well, I'm going to have Benny prosecuted for murder?
Oh my God, because Catherine is trying to help David get Jeffrey out of jail. Damn, that's going to be conflicting.
Oh my. Yeah, that would be, because Catherine loves Hannah, and I think she loves Benny too. She'd do anything with the both of them.
Yeah. And, Dominique, I wonder what happened to that $2 million that Candace gave War, but the police took it when War got arrested. I know, right? I always wanted to know what happened to that. They probably, I don't know. I don't know how the law system works. Maybe it's because there were drugs in the car. So it's like, you know what? This is money that was gained due to drugs. So no, we're keeping it. But at the end of the day, that $2 million is a game changer. So I don't know what happened with that. Oh, Ronnie, everyone on this show went to jail except for Hannah. No, Hannah actually got arrested in season 2 because Tony was trying to get Benny's kidney. But remember, at the time, Catherine took Benny from the county hospital to Mercy Hospital nobody knew who did that. So Hannah was accused of taking away Benny's body. So Tony couldn't get the kidney. So Hannah has been to jail. Hannah's.
I like that because I like the fact that Catherine took down Tony Watson. I mean, indirectly, but she still did it.
Oh yeah. Hannah does not understand God's blessing. I think that Hannah understands God's blessing, but she just doesn't feel like she's getting the blessings in the format that she wants them to, because it's like, I can't keep taking advantage of you, and no. But then you think about season 1, Hannah, it's like, you went far and beyond the call of duty as a maid to help this woman in her time of need. So, yeah. Do you think... oh, go ahead. Yeah, I just want to get to these chats real quick. Chelsea, do you think that Veronica deep down knows about Benny and Melissa, but she is not going to take it out on Benny, but will take it out on Melissa? Here's my one comment on this. How in the world can Veronica smell another man on Jeffrey, but she couldn't smell Melissa on Benny because he didn't shower after they had sex, then he went to the Malones, then he went back to have sex with Veronica? That's all I'm saying with that.
I agree on that.
God.
I mean, I guess Veronica's just more. I don't know if she's just more in tune with her son, or if she's just not saying anything.
Got that right. I mean, with Benny, golly, I think with Benny it's more like a. I don't think she knows. I'm gonna be honest here. I don't think she knows. I'm just gonna say that out loud, but. It's like I made that meme. I think that that slap she gave Melissa was just so weak. I was like, oh my God. I don't know if they did that in one take, but I feel like they need to make it more convincing. Part of me is like, well, she is still recovering from that wreck and she just had sex, so maybe her arm isn't as strong as it usually is, but I don't know. I'm just throwing that to the side. But I want to be.
I like the dynamic between David and Melissa too.
Oh yeah. It's like David is like being forced to be polite. But I feel like David is just confused because part of me, even though he's not saying it out loud, is like, okay, this is not the same girl I saw the last time I was here. So yeah, it's because Veronica and Melissa.
I thought he would have wanted to help her because he knows what all's been going on.
Oh yeah, I feel like when it comes to Veronica and Melissa, I love their new dynamic. It's just like a mother and a rebellious teenager. I love it. Thanks, Jeremy and oh hey, yeah, no problem. Benny has Tony's stupidity. That's a good one. You think all the children Tony's got by different women? Dang, Benny. Okay, I'm starting to see the Tony Nathaniel Woods. That's a good one. I like that. Shower is something they don't do. Again, I just talked about that a few weeks ago. That rat taking a shower went viral. These characters need to learn from them, and it's a shame because they got access to indoor plumbing, but they don't seem to be taking showers. Golly. I'm not gonna lie. In terms of TV, I think my favorite show to watch now is Black Lightning because that show is so good. Have and Have Nots is still decent, but it's not what it used to be though.
I like Kelly's character on Black Lightning.
Have you seen every episode?
Not every episode.
There's only like 6 or 7. I just watched the last one a couple days ago. Just because that story is like it's kind of like Black Panther, which I do a live stream on that tomorrow because I'm tired. But it's like you don't have to be an avid comic book reader to follow along with the show, and that's a good thing because it's just so real. Like I definitely want to do a video on that because China Anne McClain's character Jennifer. When you really think about it, a lot of the problems on the show are caused by her because of her going to the 100s gang party in episode 1, then going to the march and all this stuff. So I'm just like, indirectly, she's the cause of a lot of problems. So it's like Jasmine Payne is a pain on Black Lightning, and that's kind of funny.
Yeah, she kind of, and she has the same mannerism as Jasmine as well.
And it works on this show better, though. Maybe it's because she's older and it just fits with the atmosphere of Black Lightning as opposed to the Paynes where, and again, I just feel like I'm making this joke just to make it. It's just more of a pain on that show. But I would just love to see Jasmine and Malik go to visit Kenny and Lynn just to give them tips on how to deal with Uncle Curtis. I just feel like that would be a great way to connect those characters. It's kind of
I
like,
do too, and I hope that, and I think that once we get that, we hopefully we'll have Calvin because I saw your video on Calvin and Nyla have the same mannerisms
yeah,
and the same. I think that they would hit it off really well.
exactly. I just love it. And then the fact that Calvin seems to have this thing for women with checkered past, like what Miranda robbed him, and then that's how they met, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, Miranda. Well, Miranda was a con artist. They were going to invest in an art gallery. She took all his money out of his bank account and ran with it, and came back like in a later season.
That's it. And then you look at Nyla, Nyla, who, well, I wouldn't say she was a whore, but she pretty much sold her body to get food for her family. It's like, what was that movie called Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence? That song. What would you do if you? Dang it! What was that song?
Yeah, I know the song. What would you do if your child was hungry or something?
Yeah. What would you do with someone at home? Something. And because he's hungry, and the only way to feed him is to get with some man with a little bit of money, and your dad is gone. Yeah, something like that. That's kind of what I think about.
Yeah.
Man, but yeah, it's like I said, the Pains. Oh yeah, Black Lightning, guys, that's awesome. I just feel like with the Pains, the show has potential, but it's just not good writing. I mean, Curtis with the internet thing, that was just like, I'm like, oh my God. Because my thing is, on Wednesday and Thursday, the own YouTube channel usually releases like 2 to 4 clips of the episode. And you can just watch those clips and miss the episode. Because it's nothing but bad jokes. All you're going to, like I said, you need to start a drinking game where they go, carrot, like every time Ella goes, carrot ass, just take a shot. Or like when Curtis goes, Ella, they got to go.
I know, it's crazy. About the Pains, because I think Calvin and Kenny would be great for each other.
Oh yeah, it's like, I will admit the big booty thing on the internet, that was funny because I'm just like, okay, that's where Calvin got it from. Big Nasty on Instagram. Yo, yeah. You took my phone. I ain't even he ain't get a chance to send me the photos. Man. Yeah, that's it. I love it. I just wish we saw more of him for a change, but oh man. Let's see here.
Ryan and Calvin, their chemistry was good too.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I do love that because it was definitely like a passing of the torch, so to speak, like the old characters meeting some of the new characters. But again, I feel like this is something I've been saying in a lot of different videos. I don't think for the most part that these are bad actors and actresses. They're just not given good material.
Yeah, I think that they're just doing the best with what they've got.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, sheesh, I can't agree more.
Do you think Claritha will be back?
I would love that because I'm wondering to myself, she was watering the plants and then they sold the house. It's like, wait, why are these movers here taking everything away? I would love her to come down and move down there and be there with Ella just because of that. I feel like that would be an interesting thing to have like a trio of women. I feel like Joanne might be able to shine then because, you know, Claritha's there and it's kind of like the best friend meeting the new acquaintance or just the new family member. I think that would be great because that was one thing the House of Pain did well. There were multiple stories going on in 20-minute episodes. Okay, we got to see what was going down at the firehouse, at Floyd's barbershop, in the Payne household, sometimes at the Hernandez household, and Calvin and Miranda. It's like, not all the time did we see all of those areas, but you saw different characters interacting, and it was legit funny. Yeah, some of the jokes fell flat. Some of the episodes seemed dragged on, but at least there were good chemistry between the characters and dynamics. I just feel like Curtis and Ella are doing the same things. Oh, go ahead.
I just hope that we can just get more from Claritha and get more from Floyd and some of those characters.
Yeah, I feel like if they showed up on the Pains, we'll be able to see more of them. because the cast isn't as crowded. But I feel like that's a bad thing for the show now as it is, because the show isn't overly saturated with actors. Well, actually, this could be a good thing because it means we can flesh out the characters we already have. But instead of doing that, we're just getting like a couple of characters with long, drawn-out scenes for no reason. Like the whole internet thing, that could have been solved in the first 5 minutes if Ryan was like, look, if you don't feel me using, if you don't want me to use my computer to use your credit card, that's understandable because you don't trust me, because as long as I don't hit save this card for future payments, then we're good. You can say, okay, Uncle Curtis, go to your house, get your laptop, bring it back, and we can use your computer. That problem solved. But no, it's just him sitting in front of a computer for like 10 minutes with the kids, pretending it's like, can somebody come over here and, you know, I'm really tired. It's just like, really? And then the boy being disrespectful and everything. Oh, God. It's just like.
Well, you know, I kind of don't think the boy, in that case, I don't think he's being disrespectful. I think he's being for real. Like, man, you're right there. You can't even turn the computer on? Yeah,
if I would have said that, that was automatic whooping. It's like, can you go get me? Here's my attitude when I was a kid. It's like, my thing was, if you walk into a room and if you go to the bathroom and forget a Q-tip, if you go to the kitchen and forget a paper towel, then maybe it wasn't that important to you because you forgot it. But I couldn't say that. So in a way, I definitely agree. I'm with Kenny. I know I just got punished if I acted that way. So maybe I'm a little bitter. But yeah, it's just ridiculous though how, again, they're just trying to draw out the scenes. It's like, if you don't know how, I know Curtis is here's my thing. Again, maybe this is because Curtis and Ella are just like overly exaggerated personas of who they were in House of Pain, because they're the only two original characters. So now their characters are kind of like over the top because they don't have the old cast to help balance out the humor.
Do you miss the old cast?
Yeah, I miss the old cast. But as I said before, I'm not against this new cast, but they're really not doing anything with them. I think somebody made a good comment on one of the videos. It's like Ella has a save a whole persona. This show is painful to watch. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of cried laughing at that. That was pretty funny. But then you look at her.
Nyla wasn't even in last week's episode.
I know, but I'm guessing maybe she was asleep. But I'm like, well, the kids were doing homework, so we can assume it was the same day. You know, Curtis was probably at the laundromat trying to get things set up. Then he went back home, and Ella and Joanne were there when the kids got off the bus. And then Nyla was still asleep because she has to get up for the shelter job that night. And then in the preview for next week, we see she's at the shelter. Then Kendrick walks in. They smile at each other. And I'm like, they're not getting back together because there's no way they're going to go through this 3-episode arc of Nyla and the kids moving in, and then she's just going to up and leave and go back.
Oh, man, I hope not. If that happens, I'm done.
Yeah, it's just like, really? We wasted all this time? I ain't gonna lie, I probably still watch it, but it's like, really? Because I don't need this tug of war thing going on. And then I can see it now. Ella will be like, Curtis will be like, okay, they gone. Yeah, they gone. Ella, they finally gone. They finally gone. I don't have to wake up early. I don't have to fix no ungrateful kids breakfast. But the little girl, she could have stayed. But nope, they gone. And then Ella's going to be going over to people's houses trying to get them to move back in. And then, oh, God, I don't know. It's just ridiculous. I can just see, Curtis! I was like, oh, God. It's just like her not caring.
I want to see where Kendrick's father, the pastor, is.
I know. I want to see, yeah. And then there's that other guy in the opening. We haven't seen his character yet. He's the guy who's standing right beside Ryan. It's like, I don't know his name, but I'm just like, okay, I wonder when he's going to come in the show. Because I want to meet these characters. But that's why it's like, I'm kind of hard on the show, but not too hard, because it's only been a handful of episodes. But at the same time, it's like, a lot could have been done. I mean, other shows, even animated shows, have done a lot more in like the span of 22 to 25 minutes than this show does in each episode. Because as I said before, I feel like, you know, Tyler Perry has like 2 bullet points for each episode. It's like, okay, Curtis doesn't know how to use the internet. But here's the message in that. Kids are smarter than you think. They watch things on the internet that you don't know about, and they're more aware than you think. When when Lynn was twerking, I was like, oh my God, that's just, I remember the whole scene when Curtis and Ella are in the kitchen. You can actually see Lynn in the background dancing in the backyard. I'm like, okay, maybe her and Kenny are just listening to music dancing. I'm just like, oh, that's what she's doing. Oh my God. It was funny.
Yeah, she was twerking.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I was just like,
I'm going to show you how not to do that.
I was just like, oh man. But again, that was a good message. And again, as I said before, like I remember teaching my mom how to use the internet. It's just like what was going on in the episode is accurate, but I don't feel like that running gag is enough to hold a full episode. Like there should have been more stuff going on. Like
we really don't have any drama because in House of Pain
there was drama.
And in House of Pain, Curtis was very funny. He was always giddy and laughing, but there were times where he could get very, very deep and very serious.
And again, it's just like the Veronica and David thing. It's like Ella saw that side of Curtis. That's why they got married, because she knows at the core he is a good man, just like David knows that Veronica is a good woman. But I think the Pains is like stretching the humor to an extent that it shouldn't be, because it's not funny. They're over exaggerating the character. Like when he had that talk with Kendrick in the front yard, yeah, that was a great Curtis scene. I'm like, now we're getting House of Pain Curtis. But when you got most of the episode him just going on and on about nonsense, and then Ella just trying to like calm him down or ignoring him because he's over the top, it's kind of like diminishing the character. Yeah, I mean, that makes the scenes where they're actually themselves much better, but you just have to look at all the stuff we had to go through and endure before we get to that. Like in this episode, they could have had scene where we had Ryan and a few of his college buddies cleaning up the laundromat, just like Curtis said they would do. And it could have been like a joke. It's like, so when are you going to get this place up and running? It's like, well, Uncle Curtis says in 3 weeks. This dump is like, yeah, now he's trying to order this part off the computer. Well, why didn't you do it? He wouldn't let me. Again, you could have briefly introduced some new characters. You didn't have to be in every episode. It could have just been in there in a couple. And then, kind of switch location.
Exactly.
That's why the episodes kind of drag on, because they're just stuck in the same location most of the time, just telling these bad jokes. And like Joanne was only in the episode for like 45 seconds. It was like, hey, babe, hey, we family. And it's,
Do you remember the 3-arc episode? I think it was back in 2007. It was back towards the beginning of the show when CJ got trapped in that burning building.
Yes, that was a good episode. Good episodes.
That was a 3-arc episode. That was the best Curtis that I had seen, because he was acting like a real fire chief. No jokes, no laughing. He was all serious.
And if I'm not mistaken, that was kind of like flashbacks in episode 2 where CJ was thinking about everything him and his family has went through, and that kind of inspired him to, push through. So, yeah, again, that was definitely top notch.
Oh, another thing about House of Pain I was going to point out to you. Did you notice that before the actual House of Pain series started in 2007, in 2006 there were like test pilot episodes
on the WB? I remember, because
and in those 10 test pilot episodes, CJ was actually
Curtis's son. Yep.
There was no Calvin, period.
Yeah, I remember Tyler Perry did an interview. He's like, I left the WB because they wouldn't let me talk about my religion and whatnot. So that's why they found a home on TBS. I remember that.
I wonder why he changed it. I wonder why he changed it up. Why he changed it to where CJ was no longer their son and they brought Calvin in.
I'm not going to lie. I wish I could have an answer for that as well. But there are a lot of TV shows where either the pilot or test episodes have a lot of characters. They switch around. Like, it's like they'll bring in a script or do a pilot, and then, okay, it did pretty good. But I think in order to reach like a different demographic, let's kind of expand the family more or make the children younger and things like that. I feel like all of that comes into effect. That's just my thought. And maybe TBS, he had a bigger budget so he can afford more cast members. Again, I'm just throwing out ideas here.
Well, did you watch the first 10 episodes?
Yeah, I remember WB. Oh my God, WB back in the day.
I was only 6 years old, but I was only 6 years old in one of those episodes.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there should be like a DVD release, like
Tyler Perry and TBS had a falling out, do you?
I don't think so. I feel like, Oprah probably came to him with the whole, I'm starting a new network and I can use your help. That's why I feel like. I feel like it was a great opportunity for him to expand because number one, there was less competition on OWN versus TBS, and number two, OWN would give. I feel like OWN would have given him a lot more opportunities, hence the deal with Viacom. I'm just looking from a business perspective.
And I don't think that he and Oprah had a falling out.
No, I feel like it was just more money, opportunity, and I feel like Oprah and Tyler Perry had this thing where it wasn't a permanent deal. It was like, look, I'm going to help you get your channel off the ground. And then it was like, look, I'm going to pass the torch. And then you got Queen Sugar, Greenleaf, and all these other shows. So I feel like OWN is going to be okay. Now, I will admit, I don't think it's going to get all the views and top ratings on Tuesday nights and whatnot without the haves and, you know, if Loving You Is Wrong. But I do think it's going to be okay.
And the have-nots and Love Thy Neighbor. Love Thy Neighbor, the haves and the have-nots started on May 28th, and Love Thy Neighbor started on May 29th. They were the two first scripted series. The haves and the have-nots was the first scripted drama series, and Love Thy Neighbor was the first scripted comedy series for OWN.
Yep. And then Greenleaf, if I'm not mistaken, became the first scripted show on the channel that wasn't Tyler Perry affiliated. I think so. I mean, to my knowledge.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Like those shows like the Sugar Shack. I mean, I forgot the name. It's like that restaurant with the black family that owns the restaurant. It's like a live action.
The Sweetie Pie.
Yeah, that. And then the other one like Brianna Fix My Life. I don't watch it, so I just know the commercials. But
that's like Ionla or something.
Yeah, Fix My Life or something along those lines. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the channel's going to be okay, but
now that's a show I cannot deal with.
No, I just watch the commercials. I'm like, nah, it's like Black Maury or Jerry Springer. I ain't got time for that. Nathaniel Wood.
He hurt me so bad.
I ain't got time for that nonsense. Yeah, I ain't got time for that. Oh, Nathaniel Woods, would you review the Chi from Showtime? I never heard of that show, so.
Now, I don't know if do you watch The Young and the Restless?
Nah, I mean, I used to when I was a kid. You know, when you're staying with your grandparents and whatnot, then you had to watch it. Or when you're sick from school and you watch it because. So, no. I used to, yes. Like, I remember Candace and I think David was on that show, too, at one point.
Yeah, that's why I was going to point out Candace was on. And Mitch had one episode back in 2015. He was a rescue worker.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there's just so many things. I love those like if you go on IMDb or Wikipedia and look at these characters and all they've done in the past, it's like, yo, I've seen these characters without even knowing it. It's great.
Actually, you and I were talking about 227 in a different live stream. David was actually in an episode of 227.
Yeah, that's why I love these groups and all that I'm in or I own, because it's just like I see people picture. It's like I was watching this episode and he was on here as a pizza delivery boy, so I'm just like, yo, that's awesome. It's just great. Cassandra, I didn't like how the ending of Too Close to Home, Happy Alabama. I feel like I did a video a while back before the Pains even started about, do you think they should have brought back Too Close to Home or brought back the Pains? Looking at the results, I feel like it should have been Too Close to Home, but I do like the idea of, okay, I want to bring in one more show before I leave, but I don't want it to be drama. I need it to be comedy. I think that was a good call, but I think like the Pains does need massive improvements. But in terms of like storylines, I feel like Too Close to Home should have been brought back. The main question is Tyler Perry going to continue or revive any of his old projects on these new channels for Viacom? Or is he just going to be rehashing everything with new series and everything? Because at the end of the day, everything is going to be compared to the haves and the have-nots. If he does another drama, it's going to be compared to this or to If Loving You Is Wrong. So,
well, I hope here's something. The haves and the have-nots. I would not care to see it brought back to Viacom if it has better quality.
Oh, I agree. It's like I said before in that video. It's like, if you're just going to run it into the ground, then I don't want to be a part of it. Because I feel like every video I do would just be bashing it. And I don't want to be that guy. But it's kind of like, Fairly Odd Parents, SpongeBob. It's like, yeah, you're just doing it for the money. But back when it first started, you can tell they were doing it for a story.
I'm glad that we've had this channel. I love this channel because, I was following you. I was in college doing the whole get that ring by spring theory. I was following you then.
Yeah, that was a good old days. Good stuff.
That was because your oldest videos are like your first video was like a rap battle that you had.
Yeah, that was cafeteria actually. Yeah, I didn't win that talent contest, but I won the rap battle. I got some.
I remember all those videos. I was watching way back then.
Yeah.
That was before the haves and the have-nots even started, man.
I know. Yeah, I got phone numbers out of that rap battle. But when it comes down to the haves and the have-nots, again, I feel like, Tyler Perry, if he does other good shows, like this channel isn't going to die. I'll probably change the name. Like if the haves and the have-nots ends and he opens the door to new series, then hey, I'll just keep on going with that. But yeah, overall, I just feel like if the haves and the have-nots gets a conclusive ending, the only thing I want is the show released on home media and a have and a have-not movie, and I'll be fully satisfied. Like, I'll be like, you know what? This was a show. It had its ups, it had its downs, but it just brought Tyler Perry to an entirely new level.
Exactly. And I hope that when the haves and the have-nots does end, what will you change the name of the Tyler Perry Project Reviews?
Something along those lines. I think it depends on the name of any hit shows and whatnot he has in the future. But yeah, the name itself, I feel like the channel will get an entirely new revamp. But due to the following, there ain't no way I'm going to like ditch the channel at all. So yeah, it's definitely going to continue on.
Because we got almost 20,000 subscribers. My cousin Jennifer just subscribed the other day, and she loves your videos.
Oh, that's great. I just love the feedback like that. It's just that we're so close to 20,000. We're going to hit by the end of this month. I mean, I think even by the middle of this month, the channel's going to hit 4 million views and we're going to hit 20,000 subscribers. So that's a good thing. I mean, it's just how would
you like to have 1 million subscribers by the time the show ends in 2020?
That would be amazing. I'm like, I want 100,000 just because of that plaque. That's it. But here's my thing with that. Like, aside from the plaque, because I love that kind of stuff, 1 million would be amazing. Don't get me wrong. That would be great because you get like a very big plaque. But here's my thing. This channel as a whole, I just want it to be utilized as a way to make Tyler Perry see that the fans out there love his projects. Like, we'll support you. We'll talk about the good, the bad, but then we'll also let you know, like, look, some things just need to be continued, like the haves and the have-nots. Like, maybe I feel like and again, the live stream is going to be coming this week about reboots of shows like Martin and whatnot. I feel like when fans make enough noise, then a reboot will happen. But my thing is, it needs to be done right. So hopefully this channel is like a flagship to Tyler Perry. It's like, look, we care about your projects. We love what you do. But just because you get all these opportunities, don't forget about the stuff that made you who you are now. Like, the haves and the have-nots. You could definitely see the quality and the writing and whatnot go down once it began working on other projects. So that's my thing. And when it comes to Viacom,
I'll tell you what, I really hope, and I don't know if Tyler Perry watches this channel. It would be great if he did.
Yep.
But I hope that somebody somewhere from one of these shows, if Loving You Is Wrong, the haves and the have-nots, the pains, I hope that some actor or some actress somewhere knows about this channel and watches this channel.
I know, right? I feel like I know when I was blogging, the characters, I mean, they still do. They're good about tweeting and whatnot and tell me how great stuff is. Veronica even retweeted my blog one time. She's like, everybody needs to check out this young man's blog because it's amazing. And when I did the blog about Catherine dreaming everything, she was like, this is a great read. So I know that they, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the characters, I know Philip Boyd, Oscar, he watches my stuff, but it's just like, brother, help brother out. I just need an opportunity. That's all I need. That's all I want. That would be great.
See, I follow him on Twitter, and he's really good about tweeting back.
Oh, yeah, he's amazing. Cassandra, I'll subscribe right now. Thank you. That's what it's all about. Like, that's it. Like, just subscribe. Like, we got the super chat. So people who want to donate to the channel, you just click on the little money icon and you can put in a freaking $1. Like, that highlights your comment. So I'll address it first. But it's not really about the money. It's just about getting the fans together in a one location where we can talk about the shows. And then from there, it just makes the fan base even better. And again, it all goes back to making sure that aside from the views in terms of the ratings for the shows, that the people who love Tyler Perry and these shows have a community where we can come together and just talk about the shows. First of all, Elijah, what if Wyatt worked at Curtis Firehouse? I would laugh my ass off. That would be amazing. I don't know how that would go, but that would be amazing. That would be amazing. I would love that.
Well, see, I don't know if that's even because where they moved. Okay, Curtis and they moved to where is it that they're at now?
I don't know. I forgot the exact location. I know they're in Florida, but they came from Atlanta. As we know, Atlanta and the haves and have-nots is a real place that a lot of characters go to, like Quincy's mother. Landon said that I'm leaving Savannah. This is crazy. I'm going back to Atlanta. But then, you know, he's on the road with Charles now. Candace told Jeffrey that come with me to Atlanta. Oh, can Amanda go too? Sure. So I'm thinking that Atlanta is, you know, it is, technically speaking, the shows could cross over. They could cross over if they wanted to. It's just that Wyatt would have to go from Savannah, Georgia to Atlanta. And, well, Curtis really isn't even at the fire station. Isn't CJ in charge of it now? I didn't really watch the last few episodes, so I wouldn't know.
Oh my goodness, you thought CJ? Well, see, the fire station, Curtis's fire station, is no longer a fire station.
Oh wow, interesting.
Yeah, they closed it down and they made it like a Hall of Fame, I think, for Curtis, and he's in that Hall of Fame if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
because CJ is not only the fire chief now. He's the fire commissioner for Atlanta, all of Atlanta. Interesting.
So again, it's just like these crossovers can happen. It will keep all these.
Do you remember the whole big spiel where CJ was going to close down the fire station, the Curtis's fire station? It was called Fire Station Number 5.
Yep. Yes, I do.
Fire commissioner. Yeah, he was the fire commissioner. He was going to close it down, and they all came over him and. Somebody threw a rock through his window, and it was awful. And you know, there was a man who lost his wife and kids and came to see him. Oh, it was awful.
Yeah, I remember that. Like I said, I watched bits and pieces of those later episodes, but I do remember that. And again, it just goes back to the fact that there was legit drama and seriousness on that show that could be funny at the same time.
Exactly.
Man, I think this was one of our longest live streams, but again, it's just great because we can just break it down. And that's, again, this is what this channel is all about. Let's see. Dang it, I'm trying to think. I lost my train of thought. For better or worse, I didn't get into that show. I don't think I ever watched it. I think I watched a couple episodes. I think I watched the ones where Bobby Christina was on there.
It was just all, and you know, after she died, they didn't even do anything about that, say anything about her character. But
whoa. Actually, I remember reading this now. Bobby Christina actually quit the show because she decided she wasn't ready to act and whatnot because of her mother. Like, she wasn't ready to be in the spotlight. So Tyler Perry actually had to write her out of the show, or didn't even mention it. Now that I do remember reading about. I do remember that.
Oh yeah, I do remember that now. Now that you brought it up, I remember reading about that. And you know, for better or worse, you know that's a spinoff. It was a spinoff series of the movie Why Did I Get Married? Why Did I Get Married Too?
Yep. If I'm not mistaken, Tasha Smith and her husband were the same characters from the movie, right?
They were. Yeah, that's exactly what they were.
Yeah, it's just a shame. I mean, all these great. I mean, it's like. I feel like it's going to get to the point, like, yeah, Tyler Perry's going to work for Viacom. I think maybe in his later years or something like that, he'll have his own channel. I do not doubt that. Whether it's like...
Tyler Perry is 40... Tyler Perry's 49... Well, he'll be 49 years old on the 13th of March.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, yeah, he still got some years in him. So, I mean, all the movies, the series and whatnot... And like I said, the Medea's Tough Love, that animated movie, I'll probably watch that later this month when the shows go off and do a review. Like, I'm not really going into it expecting much, but I mean, I'll watch it.
Medea's Tough Love, you mean you haven't watched it yet?
Nope. I bought it, like, when it first came out, I'm like, okay. It was like $15 or $20. I'm like, I'm not paying that much for like a hour-long animated film. And then I bought it when it finally was in the five...
And there's no bad words in it. There's no bad words in it, by the way. None whatsoever.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm not going into it thinking it's Baby Kids or anything like that. It's like I bought it when they finally put it in the $5 bin, but I just have not watched it. But, yeah, I feel like I'll watch it during the off season. But I think, like, you know, yeah, he probably did it just for the kids so they can have something to watch. And that's pretty commendable. So I'll just watch it, see what it is.
See it? I've got it, too. And I like it. It came out 3 years
Yeah, I know, right? I'm just like, well, dang. Well, think of it this way. I mean, that's when I started doing YouTube stuff, so I ain't really had time. Is Candace jealous of Benny's relationship with Hannah? Nah, I don't think so. At least I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I never really got that vibe. All right, well, dang, again, very good live stream. Very good. Any closing thoughts before we finish up here tonight?
I was gonna say, I just think it's amazing how we can go and start one topic. Not that the David and Benny topic is a dull topic. It's just that we can go and feed off of it. The topics feed off of each other. Because look, we start off at David and Benny. Now we're talking about other Tyler Perry projects.
Oh yeah, because again, it's just an extension of you go from the Malones, all these underrated characters, storylines that have been forgotten about, and then we just expand on that. So yeah, that's why these live streams are great. And I just love those comments from these haters. It's like, man, you do these live streams, you never get to the point. But here's the point of the live streams. There really are no points because it just keeps going and going and going in terms of what the conversation consists of. So, hey, haters, whatever, I still get the views, so it doesn't matter to me. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
And I just hope that, I'll also like how Tyler Perry will see something. Okay, like we'll see a character in like Tyler Perry's The Haves and the Have-Nots, or If Loving You Is Wrong. And then in the next movie that they're in, the next movie that Tyler Perry does, they'll be in. Like, shortly after The Haves and the Have-Nots came on, we saw Candace in A Medea's Christmas.
And yeah, like we got Eddie from If Loving You Is Wrong. He's going to be in the Medea family funeral, so that's going to be interesting. Yeah, and I mean, I always look at it kind of like Disney Channel. Like I always made the joke, like the Disney Channel formula. Like in terms of being a Disney Channel star, it usually works like, okay, you're a character, you're just a random actor or actress who has like a brief cameo role in a Disney Channel show. Next thing you know, you're in a Disney Channel original movie, and then you have your own Disney Channel show you're starring in your own show, and then they're trying to make you into a famous singer, and then you have a downward spiral, or you become famous in Hollywood. That's how it works. So,
like, Candace was just a minor character on The Game. She was just a girl that Malik met at rehab.
Jenna, I think was her name. Like she was a model or something.
Yeah, I think Jenna was her name.
Yeah.
And now look at her now. She's on The Haves and the Have-Nots. She was in Sparkle with Whitney Houston.
Yep.
She was in the Medea movie and now she is on The Haves and the Have-Nots, and she's pregnant, she was pregnant. She's engaged to Nicholas James.
There is that movie coming out starring Taja P. Henson. I think it's coming out this month, right? I forgot the name of it, but I know there is a movie coming out. It's a Lionsgate, like a Tyler Perry film coming out. Taja P. Henson is starring in it. Tinka Sumner's in it too. Yeah, that's it, Taraji. Yeah, and Tinka Sumner's in it too.
It's called Acrimony.
Yeah, there we go.
And Officers, do you remember Officer Stewart from The Haves and the Have-Nots?
Uh-huh.
He was the one on Quincy's murder case. He was the head officer. He's in it too.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I just love how there's continuity. Like, I remember watching Ride Along 2, and Candace and Professor Cannon were both in that movie.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, it's just...
I like Professor Cannon as an actor. I just like him.
Oh, my God. I think they were both on another drama series as well. I just love when you watch these characters interact on The Haves and the Have-Nots. Then you do some research, and you find out that they were on the same show or movie at the same time. And it's just like, they may not have interacted, but they were on it. It's just like on The Game in the later seasons.
Professor Cannon was also on House of Pain for an episode as a police officer.
See, again, it's just amazing how it works out. So, again, if you're on a Tyler Perry project, you're going to be in at least 2 or 3 more, give or take. So, hey, but...
Exactly. Except for his plays. Now, there were a lot of people that were in his plays that you just... Did you ever watch any of his stage plays?
Bro, I got most of them on DVD. So does my mom has more than I do, but I got a few. I just haven't watched like the last several. So, but
I've got every single one of them.
But
there are some people from his stage plays that they were one-hit wonders. You never really heard from them.
Yeah. I noticed another thing too, like he actually said this in interviews when he comes out on stage after the plays, like he'll talk about how he found some of these people on YouTube, like singers and whatnot. And then you look at his movies, like the Boo Madea movies, like there are people who starred in those movies, especially what's her face? Tiffany, like the actress that plays
White.
Yeah, Diamond White. Her friends in both movies, like her female friends in both movies, they're like famous YouTube personalities. Like I didn't know who they were until I looked them up, and I'm like, what? And it's because they found them on YouTube, and I was just like, dang it, that's awesome.
Like Bella Thorne, that was right. Like YouTube. Yeah, there was. I love this channel, and see, this is why I like this channel, because we don't sit and we don't sit and
we don't regurgitate what happens. It's like we literally have these
right.
discussions where we dissect it.
There are some YouTube channels. There was one. I'm not going to call out any names here on YouTube, but there was one guy. I don't know if you heard of him, but he was like, he would sit and he called Veronica Stormcloud. Did you watch him?
Nah, there are a couple of YouTubers I glance at, but not again. I'm not hating because
he was on YouTube saying, he would come on YouTube and say, "Oh, I write these scenes for Tyler Perry, and I wrote. Do you see this scene right here? I wrote that scene. This was me, and I did this, and I called Tyler." He was crazy.
Yeah, it's like I don't really pay attention to that. There are some YouTubers like they'll pop up in my sidebar on my videos, and it's like they got way more views. Their channel has more subscribers, but I'm not hating because everybody has their own way of doing stuff. Like they'll just recap the episode, like they'll literally just recap it instead of like doing an in-depth analysis. But again, everybody has their own thing. Like I could be that guy to upload full episodes and crap if I wanted to and get views, but I'm not about that life. I don't know how they slide under the copyright bar, but whatever. But I don't worry. I just run.
What ticked me off is how they can slide into the copyright bar, and some of their videos got just taken down.
Yeah, and it's like after I got started live streaming, like if I get one copyright strike, I'm not able to live stream until that copyright strike has been removed, and I'm just like, that sucks.
Well, I thought it sucked for a while because I remember you and I were going to do a live stream one night.
Oh yeah.
It was a Saturday night.
They got pushed back for like a week.
Yeah, we couldn't even. I didn't like that at all. Hopefully they know not to do that now. You got that all straightened out, didn't you?
Yeah, the guy at Lionsgate and Tyler Perry Studio said there was a new guy, but they got everything straightened out. And it's just like, I don't want to overstep my bounds, but it's like, yo, man, you mind sharing a link to my channel to some of the people up there? Just kind of get my name out, I might try that during the all season, but I don't know. But
yeah, and hopefully he did.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? I don't even like. You don't even have to give me a full-time job if you can just get my channel out there. Just to get more subscribers. Like, hey, if you want to have somebody to talk to during the off season, because at the end of the day, it's a win-win because for what it's worth, I'm helping to keep these shows relevant and people talking about them while they're off the air because you don't have them on DVD, so you got to have people remain interested to want to come back and watch them. So that's just my 2 cents on it, Tyler Perry.
And see, I hope on the off season, we can continue these videos and more live streams. Like, maybe you and I can get together. Like once we get a trailer, we can maybe do a back half.
Good and well when a trailer drops, I'm going to be on it like hot butter on a biscuit. It's going down. It's like those are some of my biggest videos. Like when I do extended trailer break. I know the one I did for the Pains last time I checked was over 150,000 views. That was like 18 minutes long. And remember, that trailer wasn't even 15 seconds. It was literally like the whole cast. We had a picture of Curtis, Joanne, Ella. But my thing was, it's like I just talked about, what to expect from the show, what my expectations were. And then with the haves and the have-nots, that was like a 30-minute video where I broke it down scene for scene.
I was so hyped when that video came out. I was waiting for that video itself. Not just the trailer, but I was excited for that video itself.
And then we got the first episode out, turned out to be shit, so... I was fired up about that one. I was fired up because, we got that video and all them videos I did covering the magazine article interview, and then it just turned out to be crap. I was so pissed off.
Angela Robinson, if you're listening, you really did pull a Veronica on.
Yeah, that's it. If you pull the Ice Queen, guess what? I got a cold shoulder. I got cold feet. That was it. A head cold. You just did me wrong there, but I ain't mad at you, though.
Yeah.
Golly. Well, dang, this is officially the longest live stream on this channel at over 2 hours. And guess what? There is no shame. Like, I can't wait to see how many views this one gets. It's like, for those of you who actually tune in, this is awesome because there are so many YouTubers who cover like comic book series or other TV shows I watch. Like, I love like having that in the background while I'm working on something else, because like I can just listen to it and be working on another project, and it's just great background noise. So for everybody tuning in, thanks so much. But hey, I mean, when we get to like 4 million views and 20,000 subscribers, it'll happen. It'll happen soon. I give it a couple more weeks, but well, I don't have anything else to say. But yeah, go ahead.
I just hope that I'm looking forward to watching the next week's episode. I know I like the ending of this week's episode, even though it was a lackluster episode. I did like the ending, and I am looking forward to watching next week's episode.
I'm not going to lie. The only reason I want to watch next week is Catherine walking in on G on top of Jim. That's it. And then Jim and his boxers is like, Catherine, you need me more now than you ever did. And I'm like, Jim, your ass better take a shower. That's it.
Because I think Catherine and Hannah might even take somebody down together because they're both not playing this season.
That would be great. I mean, Hannah's just being pushed, you know, like they're just poking the bear. And we saw what happened with Catherine. So I don't know. I feel like when it comes to Hannah, whew, I mean, well, the next day, Veronica's supposed to be taking Melissa to the hospital, and Hannah's supposed to be going out on that date. So who knows?
I'm just going to go ahead and say at this point, I really don't think Melissa's pregnant. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. I don't think she is.
Me neither. I just want to see how that plays out. That's going to be interesting to see that dynamic. I mean, to see her bust upside the head with that bottle.
I just think that Melissa's going to end up dying this season. I really do.
Yeah.
I think this might be her it.
But I will say this much. Like I said before, she died in that car wreck. I wouldn't even be mad because I feel like her character has played its role. But for her to die this season, I'll be a little sad. But at the same time, it's like, look, at least we got this badass Melissa who's shown more character than she ever has before.
Yeah, because she's on Dear White People, and I think it's time for her to.
Well, they actually.
On to other projects.
Well, yeah, she did. Well, they did finish filming season 2 a while back, and I can't wait to watch because Jacqueline Beacom's going to be on this season. Like, I don't know for how many episodes, but I do know she's in season 2, so I just can't wait to see those two together. And then we got Brianna from Meet the Browns. She's a main character as well. So again, I just like how Tyler Perry Studios is kind of like a training camp for a lot of stars, especially like you look at Jasmine and Malik. They went on to Disney projects and whatnot, and now they're doing other shows and whatnot. And then you also have actors and actresses who may have disappeared from the spotlight, but they've been busy behind the scenes, but they're becoming relevant again in the acting game. So I feel like it's a both way things where you're training and bringing up these new actors and actresses while also reviving the careers of veteran actors and actresses as well.
Exactly. And I hope we see Quita again. Before this goes off.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I just wonder what will happen because to my knowledge, she does.
It was funny when she said Quincy told me he loves you every day.
I'm just like, do you know how stupid you sound right now? And I'm just like, there are so many characters in this show that talk, and it's like they don't realize how ignorant and stupid they sound. But hey,
he never told her. We never saw him tell her that.
Again, that's why we need that movie.
But I just wish they would have gotten more airtime together.
Definitely. I mean, aside from them at the jail, where she went to visit thanks to Oscar, and then when
No, I wish Quita and Quincy had gotten more airtime.
Oh yeah, because I remember in the video I said I don't think they ever met up, but they actually did when somebody pointed out that it was after Quincy was.
It was in the same episode. It was in the same episode where Jim just choked the hell out of Veronica.
Yeah, and he's like, "You gotta get him, Quincy. You need to get him." Like Benny came over here and took Quincy Jr. And then that's when he rammed the car in the freaking house. He's like, "I got you, Benny." That was one of my favorite scenes because he drove the car in there. He's like, "I got you, Benny," and then he was just limping away right before the house exploded. I was laughing my ass off the way he was limping away. And I'm like, did nobody see that? Like nobody in the neighborhood?
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't he still limping when he came over to get Candace?
Yeah, because remember everything he's been through. He was still limping. Yeah, 'cause I remember he was sitting down the he was sitting in front of Pearl's house, and then that's when eventually he went inside the house and surprised her. I'm like, oh snap! There was just so much going down. Like Oscar coming back for no apparent good reason. Like Oscar going back to Candace after getting the money was just like Jeffrey going to the courtroom. Bad writing, but whatever.
Oscar's stupid mistake.
Yeah. I mean, I get the whole, okay, he still needs to be in the show and be in the city to actually make him part of it, but I don't think it made sense. But whatever, I digress. Yeah. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up right now. But again, I feel like even though this was 2 hours long, we covered a lot of ground, and it was just good conversation. But I'll tell you one thing, I can't wait to do a non-Tyler Perry related live stream. In the coming, I feel like one's going to come up this week. Cause that Monique one was awesome. I loved it. But I'm going to have one where we're actually talking.
We need to keep doing that during the off seasons because I know these shows are going to take a break here soon.
But there are so much to talk about. So much to talk about.
Yes, there is. We need to do it. We need to keep doing hot topics.
Yeah. So basically, we're going to keep up with what's trending. But hey, everybody who's tuned in, thanks so much. It's going to be an interesting week.
Maybe on Tuesday we can get together and maybe do like a little pre-episode discussion.
Oh, definitely. I feel like Tuesday is going to be a good day to do so because I feel like tomorrow I'll get a few things done. That way Tuesday and Wednesday are just blackout days where I'm just going to be catching up on all these TV shows I've been not watching as much. But hey, hope you have a good night, Chandler. I'll be talking to you for the next couple of days. Yeah. And everybody for tuning in, thanks so much and have a wonderful night.